Hi, you must be Kathy.
Oh, yes, I am.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
We've talked a lot on the phone, but it's great to see you in person. Here's a business card and a brochure just so that you know who I am. And let me take a minute to explain sort of the process, what we're going to be doing here. The entire process will probably take 2.5, possibly 3 hours, kind of depending on what we see. And we're going to start on the outside. We'll look at the driveway. Then we're going to walk around the entire house. I'll get up onto the roof. And it's great if you can stick with me, because then as I see things, I'll point them out to you.
Okay.
You can ask me questions. My goal is to have you understand everything that there is about this house so that you really know what you're buying. That's what it is that I want to try to do. So if you stick with me the entire time, that's great. Of course, I don't expect you to follow me into the attic or onto the roof, but the rest of the time, if you can stick with me, that's terrific.
Okay.
And when we're done, I'll take, by the way, I'm taking digital pictures of everything that we see. And when I go back to my office, I'm going to take these digital pictures. They're going to go into a computerized report, and it'll take me, probably you'll get the report tonight, possibly tomorrow. Tonight.
Wow.
But possibly tomorrow, kind of depending on what happens.
Okay.
And this report is going to get emailed to you.
Great.
So that you'll be able to see this report from anywhere you are 24/7.
Wow.
That's a very nice tool for you. Okay, so are you ready to get started?
Yep, ready.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, starting at the outside of the house here and looking at the driveway, you can see that there's a concrete apron, and it's in good condition, but you can see that the aggregate is starting to show through, which is just the years of sand and salt wearing through it. Hey, puppy, how you doing? And, it's completely serviceable, no problem at all. The asphalt driveway looks like it's in good condition, but it is from 1974. That's the age of this house, and I'm sure this driveway is original. You can see where the wheels of a car obviously go up and down here, and it's a little bit depressed just from the weight of the cars going on it, and it's starting to alligator crack a little bit. And as time goes on, water penetrates through that, and it'll make it worse and worse. It's never going to get better. It's obviously just going to get worse. So what I would highly recommend is that you seal this driveway at least on an annual basis. You use a driveway sealer, because what that does is it just protects the driveway from water penetrating and causing more deterioration. Okay, on this section of the roof I could get up, but this section of the roof there's no access to it, so I'm going to use my binoculars just to see if I can find any issues with this section of the roof. It is the same age as the other section, and it does look like it's in the same condition as the section that I was able to get up onto, and I don't see any problems. But while I'm here, let me take a closer look at the siding with my binoculars. And sure enough, I see some shingles that have actually completely broken off or have deteriorated. So you're definitely going to want to replace those shingles. You want to prevent water intrusion. Water intrusion is one of the worst things that can happen in a house, so you for sure want to eliminate that. Okay, looking at this side of the house, boy, I can see some very substantial rot on the bottom of these window mullions. Look at that. That's really in bad condition. You're going to have to either do a lot of carpentry work here with a handyman, or just go ahead and bite the bullet and change those windows. Probably that's what you're going to want to do. And as I'm looking up even farther, you can see that window is shot as well. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and get my ladder and check it in a little bit more detail. All right, I'm just going to take a closer look at that wood rot over there, just to see how bad it is. And I'm going to use the home inspector's favorite tool, a screwdriver, and just probe it. Whoa, that's pretty bad right there. Now, I also have a moisture meter which basically tells you how moist something is, and you can see it's reading the moisture in my hand, and it penetrates about 1/2 inch in. Not bad right now because it's been drying out because the sun's here, but just picture it in the summer with all these trees right here and the foliage. You're not going to get any light, so it's just dry. It just doesn't get a chance to dry out enough. So what do? I would say you're going to have to replace this entire window. It's going to be the cheapest way to go, because if you have a handyman come in and spend all the time replacing these the rotten pieces of wood, the rotten sections of wood, it's just going to be too expensive. So, you know, I would suggest biting the bullet and go ahead and replace that entire window. Okay, this is what I would classify as a typical settlement crack, and I'm going to sound it. See, hear how solid that sounds right there? And right there it's a little bit hollow. That's because water has gotten in here and it's delaminated it from the poured concrete foundation. It's nothing structural. This is actually called parging, and it's basically a non-structural cosmetic coating on top of the poured concrete. But what I would suggest that you do is just seal this with a little caulk to prevent more water from getting in there. That'll help the delamination slow down or maybe even stop. But that's all I would suggest, and just basically to let you know that that is there. Okay, taking a look at this side of the deck, again with the most trusty tool of a home inspector, a screwdriver. I'm going to just probe this wood. Look, this looks like carpenter bee damage. Wow, yeah. See, carpenter bees drill holes. It almost looks like a real electric drill went right through there. They go up vertically, and then they switch over horizontally, and you can see this is the damage that they do. This beam is really needs to be replaced. Not a big deal. I mean, the rest of it is solid, but because of these holes, there's a few of them, it should be changed. Carpenter bees are not easy to deal with, unfortunately. You can call an exterminator. They'll come in. They'll basically spray a powder in there, and it'll take care of a few of them, but very typically they come back, and like I said, it's not easy to deal with them. You have to keep after them. I'm just going to get a shot of this hole for the report. And just as a reminder, all of these pictures are going to go into your report, and it's going to be very detailed. For example, when I take this picture, there'll be an arrow pointing to that hole with several comments about what this all means. And when all of these pictures are assembled into this report, you get a very detailed picture of what's going on with the house. Okay? Okay, looking at this side of the deck, this is a main girder supporting the main structural support for this side of the deck. And you can see that there's a substantial amount of rot. My screwdriver is going right through this girder. And again, that's from too much moisture here, and it never gets dried out. So it just continues to cause problems. Look at this. That main girder is completely compromised. And here, my screwdriver isn't going through it, but I can see signs of fungus, which basically means that this has been wet for a long time. It's more than 20% moisture, and eventually it just starts to cause rot. So this whole girder is really just history. The whole thing has to be changed. What'll happen is they'll come in and they'll put temporary support in here, and basically support it with temporary 2x4s, and then this whole girder they'll remove. They'll replace the 4x4 posts, and just reinforce it. It's not such a big deal. But it's something that needs to be done, and I would not, as of now, I would not have a big party up there. But, once you change the girder, then it's going to be back to normal. So, just so that you're aware that that's something that you're going to need to budget. Okay, now